first video of 2026 and it is on the V2 channel. We're getting straight into more work on the GT3D build. We're currently gearing up to put this Turbo Smart Turbo onto our 2.5 litre flat 6 engine, but filming for that doesn't start until Monday and that video will be on the main channel. But today we're getting into the nitty gritty of the build and we are going to mount our front bumper as well as do some other fun wee jobs. A bunch of you did say you don't want me to do work off camera at all, so here we are on the V2 channel getting the little jobs done. So currently, if you've watched the main channel videos, you would know that our front bumper is mounted here along the bottom and only there. That was just to get everything tentatively in place so that we could mock everything up. But now we need to get it mounted properly. So the mounts through the center, they're staying, but now we need to mount all around the outside here and make sure that these gaps, which are not currently very good, are absolutely spot on between the bumper and the guards. And the idea is to have everything easily removable if we need to service anything underneath there, because there are radiators under there, the aircon's under there, and we need to be able to access that stuff. So I've got Warwick here. He's got some ideas.
I do.
Yes, and so first things first, we need to pull some stuff off.
Pull the side guards off.
Yes.
Make some curved mounts around the side behind the front bumper.
Yep.
So we can get the line right where the guard meets the front bumper.
Yeah, it's definitely not right at the moment. And I guess the biggest challenge of all of this is we can't have the guards on and we have to have the bonnet up while we're making these mounts. But we need the bumper to be in the right spot so that those things all line up.
So we'll make like a backbone bar basically, and then we'll put the panels back on, and then we'll make tabs or whatever off that to hold the panels where we want them.
And that is why I have Warwick here, because he is a little more skilled when it comes to this intricate stuff. I don't mind doing the big jobs, but this one, I'm gonna leave it to you.
The shiny jobs.
Yeah, the good. Yeah, I'll do the show-offy stuff, and you do the more intricate stuff. But shout out to WazFab. That's Waz's day job, really. That's where he does all the fabrication here in the shop. So if you're in Melbourne and you need a roll cage or an exhaust or intercooler piping or anything like that, hit us up, WazFab. He can sort you out. So first things first, we are removing a headlight with our beautifully easily removable tabs. Then both guards need to come off so that we can see exactly what we're dealing with. But we've established just by looking at photos online that this line through here should basically be dead straight. So that gives us a good reference point to work with.
Lovely.
Boom, just like that. So the way that we're going to make sure our bumper is dead straight is of course using our laser light. So these things are an unbelievably invaluable tool when it comes to building cars like this. We used it a bunch when we built the Slambo build, and we are going to use it a bunch on the GT3 build. So by the way, I do see everyone commenting and joking in the comments about how I say GD3 instead of GT3. Yeah, I hear it too. I don't know why I say it. It just is what it is. So currently the laser light's just shining on the bumper, but where we're gonna set it is the exact height of the bonnet when it's shut, because that is where we need our bumper to sit as well, so that they're lined up perfectly. Then once we've set that height, we are going to make some brackets using our factory mounting points from the stock Boxster bumper. Of course, it's always nice if you can continue to use the factory mounting points instead of trying to make something new. So this is a mock-up plate at the moment, but essentially the plate is going to slip in so that you can bolt it down right here, and then we'll pull the bumper forward and up, get it in the perfect position, and then we'll basically have a tech screw and panel bond going through our mount to our 3D printed bumper, and then of course we'll fiberglass over that underneath once we've got all the mounts on the bumper complete, essentially doing the same thing that we've done with our front guard. And if none of that makes sense, well, we're about to do it in real time, so let's get it done. Using the trusty pieces of the wood, of course. $200 long.
200 long, boy.
So we're bending up our bash bar for the front. Well, we call it a bash bar because we are drifters. It's not a bash bar, it's a mounting bar. So we're welding straight to the chassis rail right here. Welding helmet, safety first. Second bash bar going on. Mounting bar, bash bar. So both of our mounting bars are now welded to the car. And this is currently how they look. So good on both sides, which means we can now start mounting our bumper. So I've gone ahead and made these brackets right here. Look at that, how fancy is that? I've already gone ahead and mounted one to the car so you guys can kind of see what I'm thinking with this setup. But we're using the factory mounting point, like I said, which looks really nice and tidy. And essentially this bracket is holding the bumper up here at the perfect height so it's not going to sag. So essentially this guy slips in here and then there's a little bit of force to get it to slide into its mount. Look at that, the hole we drilled lines up perfectly. I'm really happy with the way that these mounts look because once it's all painted and everything, it's gonna look really nice and stock. So we just grab one of the stock screws, bolt this piece in. Perfect. So now before we apply the panel bond to the brackets and the bumper, we're just gonna shut the bonnet and make sure that our panel gap is perfect. Ooh. Jeez, that's good. And look at that. So as you can see now, the panel gap between the bumper and the bonnet is much nicer. There's still some finessing to be done there, but what we wanted was just to have it completely flush along here so that we can work on the panel gap with body filler and whatnot afterwards. As you can see, this side is kind of perfect and exactly where I want it. When we put the panel bond on, that'll kind of pull down a little bit there. So that's actually perfect. This side's a little close, but when we apply the panel bond, we can actually pull it away a little bit and set the gap nicely. So it should work out pretty nice, I hope. So now we apply our trusty panel bond, then we wait overnight for it to dry, and we have our first mounts on our bumper, which is pretty darn exciting. This has been a really daunting job that I've put off for quite a while. Also, shout out to panel bond because this stuff is the best. Now we put our pre-drilled tick screws into the mounts. Shut the bonnet and make sure everything's all perfectly lined up before we leave the panel bond to dry. That is so perfect. So happy. So it's the following day, and yes, I know I'm wearing the same t-shirt. Leave me alone. I've been working hard, got out of bed and just put the exact same t-shirt on. So I'm probably pretty stinky right now, but just be glad that YouTube doesn't have smell yet. That would actually be one of the worst features YouTube could add, actually, now that I think about it. So anyway, the panel bond is now dry, which means we can now remove our self-tapping screws from the bumper. And just like that, our brackets are now officially mounted to our bumper, and our panel gap and our bonnet is looking absolutely fantastic. So now that means we get to move on to fitting our front guards and making the brackets for those. But look at this. How good do the mounts look? I'm actually so happy with them. So once again, we are using our handy dandy laser light. So from what I can see, we want these outer edges of the bumper to be nice and level. They basically run flat all the way out to the side of the car. So what I've got is the laser light set up, if you can see it right here, and it's set up right along the top of our bumper here so that we can see all the way around whether it's flat or not. And as you can see on my fingers here, the bumper's actually a little high at the ends here, so we'll mount it and push it down. So what I'm going to do is throw the guards back on now. That way we can make sure everything's set exactly where we need it before we make the brackets for the bumper that go to our mounting bar. So good news for the first guard that we've got on. It kind of naturally wants to sit exactly where we want to mount it. We do have to pull it up a little bit on this side, but basically what we're going to do now is we're going to make some mounts, and look at all the access we have in here. Super easy to access, which is great. We're going to use our existing plate right here that we have on this guard that we made the headlights mount to, and we're also going to make another mount that will go straight to our mounting bar. Then of course we need to mount our bumper as well, so we need to hold them in the exact position where they're going to sit. And again, we're going to do the same panel bonding technique on these mounts that we did on the front of the bumper as well. And I think it's gonna turn out really nice. Now, one thing we do need to do is, because we're kind of repositioning this guard to be in the perfect spot along the front here, we have to work on the panel gap once again in the bonnet, but that's probably the easiest gap to finesse. So just like the headlights, these are the style of brackets that we're going to use to hold our panels in place. So it's a captive nut welded onto the back so that we can then bolt the M6 nut on the front like so. That's super simple, but why overcomplicate it if you don't need to? So let's go ahead and finally weld in our first bracket. These things honestly take so freaking long to get in, but yeah, I guess that's the nature of the beast with this build. All right, first bracket going in finally. Alright, so we have our first bracket installed. It's currently just tagged in place at the moment, but I'm super happy with how that looks. So now we're gonna go ahead and put our mount onto our front bumper. And because I'm here by myself at the moment, because Warwick had to leave, I had to figure out how we were gonna hold the bumper in place while I weld the new tabs on, because obviously we need it in the perfect position before you weld the tabs in place. And this is the solution that I came up with. So it's just a piece of alloy with 2 self-tapping screws holding the bumper in the exact position that we want it. So when we put the tab on the other side, and that is this tab right here with another captive nut on the back. As you can see, it's a right angle. So this guy will put panel bond right here, and then we'll use a self-tapping screw, and that'll be somewhere around this position here. Then we'll weld a tab off our mounting bar. Then we'll run an M6 bolt through here, and that will be our front bumper mount done on the side. Once again, our trusty panel bond going onto our piece. Make sure we get lots of it on there. Then we go ahead and attach it to the guard. Perfect. Then we simply grab this guy right here. And just like that, our bumper tabs are welded on. I will finish all of those welds once we have everything off the car and we final weld everything before painting. But now we should be able to remove our alloy piece here. And our bumper stays in place perfectly. And just like that, we officially have one of our guards mounted on the GT3D, and it's actually insane how much of a difference it makes having the mounts all properly on the car, because I didn't realize, if you have a look on this side's just mounted how we had it before, which is just tentatively mounted. It has some self-tapping screws kind of just holding it there, but it's kind of downwards, so you can see how close the guard is here to the tire, and that's simply because we don't have the guard mounted properly. Whereas on this side, take a look at this. It's actually crazy how much clearance there is now, because the guard's actually lifted up and mounted properly. So the wheel is like perfectly center in the wheel well now, which is really nice, but also we have a lot of clearance up top, so we can actually go lower with the car. Now we are going a smaller tire size on the front to give ourselves more clearance all round, which is nice. That'll naturally lower the car a little bit, and then that'll also give us more clearance to lower the car. But through here, even in here, we have a whole bunch more clearance now with the radiator and everything. But I'm just so happy with how that turned out, and now we know what we've done on this side. I can do it on this side much faster and more efficiently, but it definitely looks good. Now obviously the panel gaps through here aren't perfect, and we're going to have to build that up with body filler and kind of manipulate it a little bit with heat before we go ahead and lay the fiberglass over the top of our panels. But it's to a point, so you can see over the sides here, that is kind of the gap we're looking for. We can fill that in throughout here, no problem. And then if we shut the bonnet, we do have a little more work to do in the corner here to get it perfect, but that actually comes down to this part here needing to lift up towards us a little bit more, but all of that can be finessed, no worries at all. But that's all we have time for in this video, because right now I'm taking the car to Legacy Fab to put the turbo on the car, so I'm about to film that video. We definitely ran out of time. I was hoping to get a lot more done in this video, but that just means we'll do another V2 video a little later this week. But that's what this channel is all about, just keeping it raw, showing you guys the small jobs that don't belong on the main channel. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button, head over to the main channel on Sunday, and you'll see the turbo install video, which I'm just so excited about. Hopefully it's turbo install and first drive all in one video. Peace, bye.